Hi Aries, how are we today? Just doing our weekly readings. This week we are sort of looking at a bit of general sort of stuff. How do we get through the next, the rest of the week and the rest of the month with all the crazy energy flying around out there? As we know, we are in the middle of a double retrograde energy there. We have just had that big full moon. So if you haven't seen the shadow work reading for that full moon, make sure you do go and check that one out. Very significant for this year, that particular shadow work reading. Okay, some significant changes and transformation energy there. So definitely check that one out. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on those readings. This week we are using the Intuitive Oracle cards. I also have here the Love Angel Oracle and the Lenormand deck we are using this week. We have the Floral Lenormand. All right, so getting into it for you, Aries. We will also check in with love and romance and focusing on intimacy. But starting us off, how do we get through the rest of this week, the rest of this month? Aries, what's going on for our Aries? What does Aries need to know right now? Whoa, okay, that one, obviously. Sensory awareness. Oh, that's really interesting energy. It does say heighten your sensory awareness. It supports your intuitive flow. Okay, Aries. So this is paying a little bit of attention to supporting and expanding your awareness of your senses and taking those on board a little bit more. The more that you're developing your the five basic senses, the more that you can actually start to develop that sixth sense as well. I do feel as though for a lot of you, with your intuition at the moment, paying attention to your senses and those sensory things, because that is actually partly your intuition trying to get your attention here. So you may find, things like smelling certain things that there's nothing that's creating that smell in your area, and all of a sudden you can smell something quite strongly. I do personally find here, Aries, that things like quite often I do smell roses out of nowhere, but not actual the flowers roses, but the fake rose sort of smell. I do smell that quite often. Sometimes you can kind of smell that. Like I smell electrical burning quite often. I do find that one is a strong one during retrogrades as well, especially Mercury retrograde. It kind of lets you know that, you need to pay attention to things going on around you and just making sure that we are moving things around a little bit when we do smell that. I do find that seems to really help with that particular one because it's just sort of bringing our awareness to our environment, that particular one. Whereas certain smells, maybe reminding you of a person, maybe sort of reminding you of a specific memory associated with that smell, those sorts of things. But we also see, the five senses, yeah? So touch, taste, the auditory stuff, smelling. What am I missing? What am I missing? Hearing, seeing, visual stimulation as well. So I do feel as though for a lot of you, there is something that you're seeing quite often as well. Like that does feel a little bit like signs and synchronicities type thing, that you're seeing certain colors very frequently, or you're seeing, your eyes being drawn to certain, business logos or certain things that, your mind is linking to other things. For example, you're seeing a picture of a bee quite often. You see bees quite often, and then that's linking with other senses as well. So you'll be just sitting there and you're like, oh, I can hear this weird buzzing sound. It sounds like there's a bee near me, but there's obviously no bee around you, and things like that. I do get that this is quite strong for you at the moment, Aries. Different sensory things, with that same example of the bee, things may start feeling quite, fuzzy to you. You may taste honey, smell honey, and those sorts of things that associate back to the bees. And so there's just a greater meaning to these things, and paying attention to those things and is going to enable you to sort of start to understand the greater meaning there and the symbology of what is being flagged up to you. In that same example of bees, bees talk about community and doing things for the queen, and taking things back to the hive, and buzzing, frenetic kind of buzzy energy. So there's a few things that can connect to different things like that. So really paying attention to your senses at the moment, and if certain things are kind of bugging you on a sensory issue level, paying attention to what those things are, and what you're thinking of when those things are happening for you. I know that, there's probably quite a lot of us that do have some sensory issues regardless, due to neurodivergency, or, even without neurodivergency, a lot of people do have sensitivities to different sensory things. So, paying attention to those, and if that's not normal for you to be sensitive to those things, making sure we are paying attention to those, because they are just trying to help you increase your abilities on an intuitive level here. We do also have the angelic whispers. So for quite a lot of you, we may be getting auditory, just hearing people talking, but there's no one there, hearing things quite often here. It may actually be coming from this energy, trying to get your intuition going, from the universal level, to try to let you know that, pay attention. You may be getting some sort of universal downloads happening at this time, and that sort of stuff as well. The angels whisper through your intuition. Pay attention. All right, so I do just feel as though that connects more to the auditory for a lot of you there, Aries. So really paying attention to, what's going on with your physical body, and how that's connecting you to the world in general at the moment, and as well as that spiritual connection. There does seem to be a lot of little connecting points for you at the moment, Aries, that are just trying to help you increase and develop your intuition a little bit further here. Trusting those messages a little bit more. All right. Aries, what does Aries need to know right now in regard to love and romance? Love and romance for our Aries. What's going on for Aries with love and romance? Pardon me. Firstly, we have unrequited feelings. So the card itself, it does say there's not enough love to keep this relationship going in a healthy way. So, this is kind of one-sided relationship stuff that, you may be in a connection where you feel more for this person, or vice versa. There's something just unrequited about that energy. I am picking up, though, that for a lot of you, the unrequited feelings are connected to somebody that maybe doesn't even exist in your life at all. So whether this is somebody that, you have a past with that you're not currently connected to, or whether this is that energy of wanting someone in your life, and you just haven't met that person yet. There's a lot of, it feels like unrequited feelings, and you're not actually putting enough love towards that energy, is what I'm kind of picking up here. So, because it's kind of asking me here, like, if this is somebody that you're not currently connected to, it's kind of asking you, why are you not putting any energy towards making that connection, finding that person, contacting that person, those sorts of things. It's kind of like you've got a lot of love to give, Aries, but you're holding on to it all for yourself. You're not actually sharing it and putting it where it needs to go, even just on an energy level. All right. This is probably why we have leave your fears behind. They're stopping this relationship from blossoming. All right. So a lot of you, it's fear holding you back from, making contact or going out and trying to meet somebody to, fulfill that unrequited energy within you. Leave your fears behind. It's time to be daring. Aries, you are known to be a very passionate, daring, kind of brave sign. Why are you allowing fear to stop you from being that version of yourself? Taking some steps towards love and allowing love to blossom for you here. We'll have a look at intimacy for you here, Aries. Aries, what's going on for Aries when it comes to physical and emotional intimacy? We're looking at both, not just one or the other. Physical and emotional intimacy for our Aries, please. Once again, I am getting this leaving your fears behind. You're being held back a little. You're holding yourself back a little bit here, Aries. Firstly, we have the child. But that's actually being followed by the mice. So this may sound a little bit confronting here, Aries, but you're allowing this child energy to stop you from your new beginning. All right. The mice does talk about a loss. It talks about stress. So it talks very muchly about past energy, losses that you've suffered in the past. Basically, kind of telling me that you've been hurt in the past. Basically, like a lot of us have when it comes to love. But you're thinking about it in a very naive, childlike kind of a way, where you're allowing that to stop you from moving forward into healthy love, where because you're telling yourself that if I take a risk towards love or a new beginning in love, that it's just going to take from me. It's just going to take too much from me. It's just going to result in a loss. It's just going to result in stress. You're kind of looking at it in a very immature kind of way, where I've been hurt before, so therefore I will be hurt again. Rather than leaving that fear behind and taking a chance anyway. We do see a brand new beginning potential here for you with that child energy, but it's kind of like you're allowing yourself to get stuck in the past. For some of you, I am picking up, you may be getting stuck in a little bit of childhood trauma. You may actually be using your children as a bit of a crutch here as well. If you are someone who has children, you're kind of like trying to tell yourself that, oh, I can't move forward when it comes to love because I've got to worry about my children first, which, fair, but that doesn't mean that you can't look after yourself as well, Aries. For those of you where that's the case. You're kind of putting your children first doesn't mean putting yourself last. All right. Something I tell people quite often here is, in order to be a good parent, you need to actually look out for your own self as well. If something, if you're not in a good place, how are you supposed to be a good parent? If you're not physically in a good place, and the worst were to happen because you're so stressed out, then when you're in a stressed out mode, you're not going to be a good parent anyway, are you? So sometimes the best thing you can do for your children, but to put your children first, is to actually take care of yourself. Sometimes that's a very important part of being a parent, is to know that you're a parent. You're responsible to look after you and look after that parent that needs to parent that child. They are just as important as the children being looked after. The parent needs to be able to be the best parent that they can be. And in order to do that, you need to make sure you are looking after, what you truly desire and need, to be the best that you can be. All right, all around, not just towards the children. All right, sometimes putting your children first, it doesn't mean taking a back seat to things when it comes to things like love and things like that. All right, so put yourself out there a little bit more, Aries. We do sort of see that's kind of holding you back from intimacy. We're acting very childlike. when it comes to intimacy. We're holding back a lot, and keeping ourselves in this child energy rather than allowing ourselves to grow and mature in a healthy kind of a way. And looking at intimacy in an adult fashion. Which is quite interesting because we do see the snake coming through here. So I'm getting a dual message with that. So I'm kind of getting, you're lying to yourself about having to put this before your own self and before your own, the ability to love and share love and have love. So there's a little bit of self-deception at play here, Aries, for sure. But this also is the card of physical intimacy. All right, so there is there is opportunity for you to have that physical intimacy in your life at the moment. Just clarifying that snake card on the physical intimacy aspects for Aries. Just want to clarify that for Aries, please. Give what you get, Aries. We have the bouquet here. So giving the that sort of stuff a little bit more precedence in your realm, and allowing yourself to go, well, do you know what? Maybe it's in my children's best interests for the parent to have a day off and, just be very physical and have a bit of physical fun. It doesn't need to be anything hugely intimate on an emotional level, with just the snake coming through there. But it's like giving your time, your love, your energy back to yourself and the physical side of intimacy for yourself, the more that you're going to receive in return. And I am just picking up here that for a lot of you, the more that you start sort of giving to that physical desire side of stuff, the more you're going to start receiving in return as well. So a couple of you there sitting there going, but nobody is interested in me. But it's like, are you really putting that out there in the first place? Maybe you just need to get back up on the bike and have a go, and the rest will sort of fall into place. Maybe get the physical side of things out of the way so that then we could look at love and romance rather than, maybe we just need sometimes it's a bit of a random thing for me to be saying here, but sometimes if you, get the physical needs met and give yourself a little bit of fun and whatnot, then we may actually, find some other stuff come our way that is a little bit more in tune with what we're truly after here. All right, so that's what I've got for you today, Aries. You are more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, go back and check out that shadow work reading, and I will see you all again soon.